You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, and with me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, what's going on?
Another literal one. Yep. Hey, thanks for clicking on the show here today. We have to talk about this final game in Atlanta. They want to get out of there as fast as humanly possible. So we're going to do that later on in the show. But Stacey, welcome back to another episode of Locked On Therapy Sessions. Here we go again.
Yeah.
5-0 loss to the Braves last night. Could have been worse.
Could have
been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse. Yes,
Could have not gotten that one hit.
Yeah, well, that too. Yes, on both sides, it could have been a lot worse. That's true.
Let's start with Sevy. We want to talk about if the Yankees are the most frustrating team in baseball in a second, but after last night's performance from Sevy, are you feeling anything positive? I mean, 4 innings, 5 runs, 3 of which were earned. IKF had a tough game in the field. At third, gave up 5 hits, couple walks, 5 strikeouts, a pair of bombs to Ozuna and Acuna. I mean, again, it could have gone a lot worse.
I mean, it really could have gotten a lot. It could have gone a lot worse. The one inning where he had 3 strikeouts, that was good, right? I mean,
yeah, his cutter looked good last night. That's for sure. And I like that they recognize that, and that Rortvet recognized that, and they started throwing it more. I really appreciate that. I mean, it shows they're trying. Sevy did also go back to his original windup. I don't know if you noticed that last night.
I did, yes.
So since the All-Star break, he has changed his windup. Last night, it went back to how it's been, how it normally is. He wasn't snapping his finish like I had talked about last week after his last start. That's still there. He bumped it up to 99 again a couple times last night, so that's good. It's just the same stuff, that awful slider to Ozuna. That was middle 86 backed up on him. It was nearly
so
99
bad.
on Acuna.
It was so bad.
Try to rush it past him.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But it got too much of the middle of the zone. It was a little up, but it was still too middle, and he was able to hit it. But that slider, and he almost got out of it too. And it was like, oh no, oh no.
I could tell from the first couple pitches of the game that his fastball was not what he wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty clear. The first 2 fastballs were like 97, 98 down the middle. And
yeah.
And flat. They were just not catching up to it in those, first about time and a half through the lineup, and they started catching up to him a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the Yankees are stuck with Sevy at this point. We've talked about that. We've detailed that at this point. The offense obviously is the much more sour point. Just 1 hit last night. A lot of weak ground balls.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be. I'm glad that Severino didn't give up 9 runs. Okay, so it was 3 earned, 5 overall, obviously, but it really could have gotten. I keep saying gotten. Could have gone a lot worse. I'm more upset at the offense because. What did I say? I say it all the time. I joke about it all the time. Anytime a pitcher is coming in, either they've been bad all season where their overall ERA is above a 6, or they come in after a couple of bad starts where, this guy's had a 5.75 ERA in his last 2 starts. And I'm always joking, well, he's facing the Yankees. He'll probably, shut them out for 6 innings.
There we are again. Not only shut out, but that kind.
Yeah.
That was rough, man. That was rough. It just is. Just, again, a lot of non-competitive at-bats, a lot of weak ground balls, a lot of weak contact. What are you going to do? And Glaber's rolling into double plays like a madman right now. It's tough, man. It's tough out there because it's a lot of times, man, it's just the Yankees aren't putting it all together at once, right? It'd be one night, Cole goes out. They did put it together on Cole's last start, and then they just didn't put it together for two outs.
Yeah.
It's just, again, the Yankees have to be perfect to win. It just continues and continues, and time is a revolving circle.
Yeah. So in case people didn't know, because not everyone is on Twitter, Katie Sharp is the stats guru on Twitter. Gleyber Torres has hit into 6 double plays in the last 6 games, and it's the most any Yankee has ever hit in a 6-game span in Yankees history. So congratulations to Gleyber Torres for making Yankees history. Good job.
I mean, he's been good all year. And
I know.
Not all year. I shouldn't say all year. He's been good for the majority of the year. So
this is the weirdest thing ever. Like, you don't expect this from Gleyber at all. And it's just it shows you. It's the first time in Yankees history. Yankees history is a long time. So
it's like 500 years.
Yeah. It's a very long time. We're not talking 46 years like the
Or
Mariners and the Blue Jays
20,
or the Diamondbacks 20-something years. We're talking 120 years. So
yeah, it's tough. It's super tough. Stacey, I wanted to compare this team to other teams, and we're going to do this here for a little bit. Here are the teams that I feel are the most frustrating in baseball right now for a multitude of reasons. In no particular order, the Angels are obviously extremely infuriating to watch. The San Diego Padres are extremely infuriating to watch. The Yankees have been infuriating to watch. For other reasons, not on the field, the Rockies have been infuriating to be a fan of. The A's clearly have been an infuriating team to be a part of as a fan. And I did something I didn't tell you, Stace. I asked our fellow Locked On hosts how they felt about this. I asked Locked On Angels and Locked On Padres. I texted them, out of the 3 teams, who would you say is the most frustrating? The Padres, Yankees, or Angels? Locked On Padres host Javier Reyes, who we've had on the show, said Padres, I'd say, because of all the signing MVPs hype and that they were somehow worse after acquiring stars. The Super Halo Bros, who we've also had on the team, or on the team I was reading, on the show, said, I think Padres, right? They did the Mets move to a lesser extent, brought in a bunch of dudes to go with the dudes they already have. Everyone's underperformed. You think with Melvin's track record, he can make it work, but I don't know. Angels, frustrating, but it's nothing new. Yankees aren't too surprising to me because they're the same team as last year with more injuries. Your thoughts on our friends from around the Locked On Network and what they have to say?
I would agree with that. Like I've said, I've written about the Padres a bunch this season, and they're very similar to the Yankees in that they'll have a really good game where they break out offensively, and then literally the next day they'll be shut out. And then they'll lose either in agonizing fashion in the 3rd game of the series. They've had 6 or 7 3-game winning streaks. They've never had anything longer than that this season. They can't get anything going on that team. And, it was last week, I believe, that Juan Soto came out and was basically like, we give up. And it's like,
way too much airing of dirty laundry there.
The fans don't need to hear that. They kind of understand it from watching games.
They already know.
They know, so I would say the Padres are probably the most frustrating just because most of those guys have been around all season. They're not dealing with a bunch of injuries or anything like that.
And they had the suspension to Tatis at the beginning of the year. That is so far long ago that you can't use that as an excuse.
They're just really underperforming. And, you look at it with the Yankees too, like everyone's not hitting at the same time. And it's basically the same thing with the Padres. Like they're just not steadily hitting and getting anything going. So I would say just from the standpoint of signing all those big names, the Padres are probably the most frustrating, I would say.
Of that trio, Padres, Angels, Yankees, where do you have the Yankees? 3rd most, 2nd most?
I would say 2nd. Because, no offense, but the Angels have been frustrating for a while. This is like a pattern, like they're wasting Trout and Ohtani. They've wasted Trout since 2014.
They've wasted, not wasting, wasted. It's over. It's over. The window is closed. I mean, it's infuriating to be fans of all the 5 teams we've mentioned. Again, for one reason or another, they're all similar but different. If that makes any sense, they're definitely different in their own ways. They branch their own narratives. We've detailed out the Padres. Of course, the Angels make all those moves at the deadline. They buy super hard, essentially, and have been I haven't looked at the numbers, but maybe the worst team in baseball since the deadline. It's been insane how bad they've played since the trade deadline. The Yankees just have such a lack of direction, which we've talked about on this show, and I think that's what makes it the most frustrating. I mean, you could stomach a bad year if it meant that the organization was going in the right direction, which, hey, again, we talk about prospects all the time here on this show. And, if you haven't checked that out, first time here, go look at our playlist that literally is dedicated to prospects, where all we do is talk about the best ones. But yeah, I mean, all in all, like it feels directionless.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on when we come back about why this team is frustrating, not just the direction, but everything surrounding this team and why it's been such a frustrating season. We're going to talk about that in a second. Of course, hang out in the comments with us, reply to that pinned comment down below here on YouTube, and you can submit your questions for Fan Mail Friday. You can join our subtext to skip that line. Subtext is a texting service where you can text Stacy and myself one-on-one to get a whole bunch of really cool perks. They're in the episode description, as well as a 14-day free trial. All right, like I said, when we come back, why has this team been so frustrating? We'll talk about it next.
Locked On Yankees fans, I have to tell you about our new sponsor. It's a new app called Bunches. Bunches is a new app built just for sports fans like you, where you can chat about sports in real time, including Yankees baseball. When the Yankees game just isn't going well, things are falling apart. Well, now you have a place to go and vent with your fellow fans. Click the link in the description to join the app, or go to the Apple Store and download Bunches now. I'm telling you, you're going to love the conversations you're going to have with other Locked On Yankees fans. Download the Bunches app today, and when you do, our friends at Bunches have featured the Locked On MLB Bunch in the Discover tab. You can also click the link in the description to join the Locked On MLB Bunch community today. That's Bunches. Find it in the App Store.
Back here, segment 2, Locked On Yankees, here on this Wednesday. Don't forget, if you are crazy and you want to listen to the Yankees game, you could do it on Sirius XM. Will the Yankees avoid going under 500 in late August? You're going to find out tonight with John and Susan on Sirius XM. Download the Sirius XM app. Coming up on tomorrow's show, by the way, to the everydayers out there, we're going to recap that game, take a look at our bold predictions, see who was right. Mine's still holding strong. Remember, Volpe homers off Charlie Morton tonight. That's my bold prediction. Stacy, we were talking about how the Yankees have been frustrating this year, and comparing them to the Padres, Angels, Rockies, A's, and of course, I was gonna say Cardinals earlier, but no, you don't get to be frustrated. Not after the success they've had of like 100 straight years or whatever. And look, that's gonna come rich from a Yankees podcast host, but come on. So
they were bad in 1990. In 1990. But it's been a while. Yeah, the Cardinals have had a very good run of solid teams. So just deal with it. You guys will be fine.
After last night's loss, 60-60, Stacy, 500 mark. Latest in a season the Yankees have been at 500 since 1995. Mm-hmm. Can you detail out for you maybe what's been the most frustrating thing for you as a fan?
Well, just the lack of urgency from everyone involved with the team. Sure. Like there's no urgency from ownership. There's no urgency from Brian Cashman. Boone is just, in his post game. We're fine at base running. They are? No, they're not. Are you watching the same games as we are, sir? Like, what are you saying? That's what annoys me the most. There's just no urgency from anyone on this team. And there has to be in some sort of way to get a fire lit under their butts, because if there's no urgency, you can't keep saying, we're in it. We're going to try and do this and try and do that, but then not show anything.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not. Right. You're completely not wrong.
Yeah.
I detailed it, or I talked about it a second ago in the first segment, but I think the most frustrating thing for me is having no clear direction.
Yeah.
If the Yankees were quote unquote all in, they should have made more moves well before the deadline. If the Yankees were out then they should have made moves at the deadline that signaled that.
Right.
You could have sold Glaber. Come on. You could have totally done that. You could have got something out of that. You could have got something out of Wandy. Were they going to be bona fide dudes? Maybe not.
Right.
I think that's fine. But do you really think signing Wandy Peralta in the offseason in 2024 to a 2-year deal is going to make your team that much better in 2024 and 2025 to the point where you're a contender? Come on.
No.
Look, I like Wandy. He pitched well last night, but like, what are you talking about at that point? Like, you're like, well, we really want to hang on to Wandy to make sure we have him for the next 2 months. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So that, I think that for me has been the most frustrating part. You know me, I'm the minor league guy. I'm the guy that loves prospects and all that stuff. The way they've handled guys like Florial is infuriating to me. The way they handled Miguel Andujar was infuriating to me. That's the stuff that really bothers me is the way they handle the prospects doesn't make much sense to me. Look, I get that some guys can't cut it at the big league level. There are quadruple A guys. That's a thing. I totally understand that. But never giving them the opportunity is the part that baffles me.
Right.
Why does, and look, I'm not picking on this kid for any reason whatsoever. I love the kid. But why does Anthony Volpe get 115 games at the major league level? Because he played well back in spring? Just because Oswald Peraza didn't have a great 2.5 weeks 5 months ago, he doesn't get any chance at all, really, except for some injury stuff? That makes zero sense to me. I don't understand that one iota.
Yeah. That's really frustrating, especially because we'll go back to the move that they made when they got Donaldson and IKF. Their whole thought was, we'll get him to be a stopgap and we're holding on to Peraza. We're holding on to Volpe. Why are you holding on to Peraza if you're not going to play him?
Yeah. And
There's
that's
no
why
point.
We've said it, we've said it before that there is no way they cannot have Peraza in the show next year. He has to break camp. He cannot not be on that opening day roster next year.
Yeah.
Because that's just criminal at that point. It's just not fair.
That's the same word that was in my head. Criminal. It's criminal what they do to some of these kids. And it's been years of this. I don't know if they're still gun shy from other prospects not working out, because there's so many guys that they held on to and didn't make moves for legit guys. And I can't remember the prospect that it was, but when they had a chance to get Cliff Lee in 2010 and they didn't because they were holding on to someone who barely made it in baseball, that was like a clear sign that things were going to be going downhill for the Yankees. And it did at that point, like after 2012, then 2013, 14, out of the playoffs, 2015, they kind of, we made the wild card game, and then back to 2016. And I feel like so many of the moves that they didn't make have set them up for the failure that they're seeing now. And we spoke about this on previous shows, but the not going after Bryce Harper, maybe even not going after Manny Machado when you had a chance, because Manny Machado would have come here. He would have come here in a second. You could have just been like, hey, take this. He would have been here. They need to do so many changes. I know people are clamoring for a new manager and general manager, but I feel like they need to, from top to bottom, redo some of the departments in the organization, because they're just going to keep middling like this for the rest of the time that Hal Steinbrenner owns this team, and they're not going to get any better. It's just going to be like this for the rest of the time.
Keep Sam Breen.
Yes.
I like Sam Breen. Keep Raul Dominguez in the system. I know that's a super deep cut. He's the manager of the Somerset Patriots. He's incredible. I love him. He's so smart. I love having that guy in the organization. I think that's massive. Keep that guy around. There's a couple of guys like they obviously keep around.
Yeah. But I mean, like front office, analytics, like those departments. Yeah. It needs a total redo because it's not working. And I know other teams will be like, my team hasn't made the playoffs in this many years, and you guys are complaining because you won 99 games last year, and now you're suddenly at 500. Yes, I am, because I'm a Yankee fan, and Hal Steinbrenner makes more money than anyone I know in my life, and he is mismanaging this team to where they're not going to do anything under him. They're not, because the only reason they did in 2009 was because his father was dying, and they decided, okay, let's give out all these free agent contracts. We need to build a really good team so they can win. And then after that, you saw the moves that were made for the next 14 years that didn't help this team. So, other teams would kill to make the playoffs, but we're Yankee fans. We want to see World Series.
No, I
That's
understand.
just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, you should always be trying to put your best product on the field. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. If you're in a rebuilding era, you still need to put the best product you can at that time on the field.
And stop
And it
saying you
feels
are
like-
when you're not.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. It's tough. It is tough. I totally understand. And we haven't even talked about the handling of injuries. We haven't even talked about the off-field stuff that has happened this season.
Ugh.
The way they've gone after free agents, the trade deadline from last season, like it's been a real stretch here. A real stretch. Let us know in the comments here on YouTube how you're feeling. What's been the most frustrating part for you? Again, welcome back to another episode of Locked On Therapy Sessions. That's what we want to hear from you here
Tell
today.
us
Let
how
know.
you're feeling. Let us
Yes.
know.
Let us know. Let us know down below. We're going to step aside one more time. We're done venting. When we come back, we got to talk about Game 3. Can the Yankees salvage the series?
For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers, eligible items only, and exclusions apply.
Back now on Locked On Yankees. Don't forget you can listen to tonight's finale in Atlanta on Sirius XM. We've been telling you all season long to download that Sirius XM app. You'll even hear Stacey and me on there. Hey, so Game 3 tonight. Don't know who's going to go as of this recording. It'll either be an opener or let Vasquez start. Do you lean one way or the other here?
I think I'd prefer Vasquez to start, just because they're not winning this game. It doesn't matter. Just put him out there and see how long he lasts and try to save the bullpen. Try. I mean, I don't know.
They used like everybody last night.
Yeah.
Like all the high leverage guys last night.
Just let him, what do they call it when they let a guy stay out there no matter what's happening? There's a phrase.
I always say let it ride. That's just let it ride.
No, not strap one on. That's something else. What is
that? Sounds very much not what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like they'll just let the guy stay out there and give up like 10 runs because it's like, all right, we're not going to do this.
It's an IKF night.
I was just going to say that. And then IKF, one of their best relievers, is going to come in.
So whoever's going, I mean, Vasquez is going to be the bulk guy regardless.
Wear one. He's going to wear it. That's what it is. Yes.
That's different than what you said.
I know.
Charlie Morton gets the ball for the Braves. He's coming off of a pretty good outing against the Mets. 5 innings of shutout ball, 3 hits, did walk 7, 4 strikeouts. His walks are up. He's had at least 3 walks in his last 5 starts, and that's obviously the low end. And his whip is nearly 2 here in the month of August. It's like 1.9 something. So He's been giving up nearly 2 base runners an inning. The Yankees need to be patient at the plate tonight. Please be patient at the plate tonight. Try and give Randy something to work with here. He's coming off of 58 pitches against the Marlins. 3 2/3, 3 hits, 2 earned, a homer, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. As we know, with the Yankees system, they build their pitch limit, quote unquote, based on their previous starts. So 58 pitches last time out. You can maybe figure around 70 or so for Vasquez, maybe 75 if he's looking good. And we'll see. I mean, I think, I mean, I've been calling for the Yankees to let it ride this season at this point and just go and just play and let guys play.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they have to do with Randy Vasquez here tonight, because eventually if you think Randy Vasquez is a part of your rotation in the future, he's going to have to face teams like the Braves at some point in his life.
Right.
So
right.
you just got to rip the Band-Aid here. Let him do it.
Yep.
And you really don't have many options. Again, you used so many arms last night.
Mm-hmm. Ugh. Yeah. Again, just let him wear it. If he gives up 3 runs in the first, 2 more in the second, yeah. The frustrating thing with the Yankees is the offense is, like you'll see Morton will probably like walk a bunch of guys and you'll see the Yankees get the bases loaded with like none or 1 out. And, someone will strike out or someone will pop up. No one will hit a fly ball far enough to get a sac fly in. It's so they don't do anything right anymore on offense when they're off, like when they're just not having a good game, they can't do anything. I haven't seen anything like this in a really long time.
It's maddening. It is maddening. Remember that Stacy's bold prediction failed.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a chance tonight to take the lead back. It's my lead. It's my money. I need it now. And I'm taking that back. If you watch, and this is for our subtexters in particular, if you watch tonight's game and Anthony Volpe hits a home run off Charlie Morton, just know I'm going crazy because I'm back in the lead. I've been calling for that one. Charlie Morton's been struggling overall this season, and he's been wild here recently. So come on, Volpe. He tripled the other night. I'm just waiting to watch that thing.
I mean, he looked good in Miami. Hit a couple of bombs there, so
yeah,
it could
2
happen.
big ones, a 3-run shot and a 2-run shot in Miami.
It could happen.
He's due for a slam.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, that just again, subtexters out there, just text me when that happens. I'll be like, I told you. I would love for that to happen.
Now,
very, very happy.
Now let me just say, technically, Sevy only gave up 3 earned runs, but he only pitched 4. So, but I was close.
You said 5. You said 5 innings.
But I was close. I was close. I mean, it could have been it could have been like a Clark Schmidt situation where he gave up 8 runs or 10 runs or something like that. So, I wasn't that far off. I was kind of like, when he only had the 3, I was like, ooh.
Well, this was a super negative show. So, everydayers know we try to bring the positive side. And there you go. There's the find. It wasn't 9 runs.
Yeah. Ooh.
So there's that. And that's how we're going to end today's episode. Don't forget, again, tomorrow we're going to react to our bold reactions from a couple of days ago and see if I take the lead back in the bold predictions scoreboard. That's the word I was looking for. That's coming up on tomorrow's show, so make sure to hit subscribe. Of course, Fan Mail Friday in a couple of days as well. Reply to that pinned comment here on YouTube and join our subtext so you can text me when Volpe homers tonight. All right, that's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We will see you tomorrow.